doing now. I was here and I went up and I'm just going to sign a couple. Missing one, right? Someone snuck out on you. Please be seated. You're going to get tired of hearing this, but I'm going to ask all our jurors again, did you follow my instructions, not talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else, or look up any of the people or places involved? Even if you did so inadvertently, now would be the time to raise your hand and let me know. For the record, no jurors lifted their hand. Next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Kim Van Was.
Yes,
Your Honor,
ma'am.
while she's coming into the courtroom, if Ms. Fitzgeorge and I could, well, the team could approach her.
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give
State.
Would you please, for the record, please?
A-N space W-A-U-S.
And where are you employed?
I am employed with the Lee County Sheriff's Office
And how long have you been employed with the Lee County Sheriff's Office?
since September 2001.
And in what capacity have you been employed? And as a crime scene technician, did you have any training that you had to go through?
Yes, I did.
And briefly, what type of training have you had to be a crime scene technician?
I have an associate's degree in crime scene technology from Edison College. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal forensics from Florida Gulf Coast University. I am also a certified crime scene analyst through the International Association for Identification, and I have over 800 hours of specialized training in forensics.
What does it take to be a certified crime scene analyst?
You have, you have to take an exam. There's 2 major textbooks you have to study from. You have to have years of experience, and you actually have to take this exam to show that you are proficient in crime scene in order to pass the test.
Now, did you receive a call to respond to a crime scene at 27Z on June 20, 2000?
Yes, I did.
And were you a crime scene technician at that time?
Yes, I was.
And did you respond?
Yes, I did.
And when you're called out to a crime scene, do you have a method of processing?
Assess it for evidence and anything of interest. We have to collect the evidence, and we also have to process the crime scene.
And when you say document a crime scene, what are you talking about when you talk about documenting a crime scene?
This can be done in a lot of ways. Mostly photographs. We do a rough sketch, which can later be computerized. We do rough notes. We do a Faro 3D scanner, and we also take video.
And you talked about a second thing being assessment. When do you begin your assessment of a crime scene? Is that after documentation?
It's actually during documentation, because while I'm photographing that scene, I'm also assessing.
Collection and processing, does that come after the documentation and assessment?
Yes, it does.
When do you, well, let me just, for the crime scene you mentioned at Jarvis Road, did you follow this same procedure or method when you were at that crime scene?
Yes, I did.
When you were processing it? When you arrived at Jarvis Road, where did you first go? What did you first do?
The first thing I did was I met with the detective on scene for a briefing on the scene.
And what type of information is provided to you in a briefing?
This is anything that I might need to know before I start going through the crime scene and documenting. In this case, there was a little bit of information I need to know that I got from the briefing.
And what information was provided you during the briefing that you used or that assessment?
The detective informed me about different doors that were locked or unlocked, or the clearing of the residence.
And with that information in mind, how did you actually approach this crime scene?
I actually approached this crime scene through the garage.
Now, is the garage the first way you went, you started where you started with the crime scene, or do you do something, do you do an outward assessment, an outside assessment before you enter into a residence?
I always start from the exterior of a residence. I will walk around the exterior my way into the residence. Yes, I did.
And where did you start your walkthrough around the residence?
On the exterior or interior?
On the exterior.
On the exterior, I started in the front of the house.
And how did you proceed after starting on the front of the house?
And then I went to the garage.
Was there a gate around or a fence around the back of the perimeter of the yard of the residence?
Yes, there was.
And did you enter into that gate when you were doing your outside perimeter?
Yes, I did.
And did you go to look at anything in particular as you were walking around the house doing this outside exterior perimeter initial walk?
Yes, I did. During my briefing, I was informed about a side garage door. So this was of interest to me. It was damaged, so I began my assessment in that area. After walking through, there's 2 gates of the fence, and I walked through one of the gates, and then I went to that door.
And did you observe that door?
Yes, I did.
Did you observe it from both the outside and the inside? How did you go about documenting that door?
I began documenting it from the exterior because that's where I start my photographs. And then I opened the door, photographed the door and the locking mechanism, and then I went inside and I photographed it from the inside of the garage as well.
Now, did you continue at that point your documentation and we'll call it assessment going through that side garage door, or did you then come back to the front of the garage?
I believe in this situation I did continue on through the side of the garage. I had the interior of the garage also from in the driveway, but I went through the residence through the side door.
And as you went through the garage, did you continue to photograph?
Yes, I did.
And what type of photographs were you taking? And I don't mean the nature of the film or the camera, but when you are documenting, what are you taking photographs of?
The first set of photographs I take are photographs. This is everything in the residence as is how I walked in the door. So I'm trying to show the condition of the house the way I see it when I arrive on scene. So this is every wall, ceilings, doors, drawers, cabinets, everything is photographed in this first set of photographs.
So after you had walked into the garage, documented in the garage, where did you go next?
Walked into the laundry room. This is right next to the garage.
And did you continue to document when you walked into the laundry room?
Yes, I did.
And did you follow that same type of procedure you've been describing of photographing everything?
Yes, I did.
After going into the laundry room, where did you next go?
The next room over would be the kitchen.
And when you walked into the kitchen, did you continue your documentation?
Yes, I did.
Did you find anything in the kitchen that gave you an appreciation for where the focus of the crime scene would be?
Yes, I did.
What did you find?
I found the victim, Dr. Teresa Sievers, lying on the floor.
And if you could just describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, began to do the
So as I'm photographing overall of the kitchen, I've also starting to note things. This is my assessment stage. There's items that are more prominent and that I need to photograph, the victim being one of those. And I'm taking more photographs to show the condition of the entire kitchen.
Did there come a time when you stopped taking photographs of the kitchen and you continued your walk through the house?
Yes.
Where did you next go in the house?
The rooms adjacent to the kitchen were the living room, which wasn't really used as a dining room, so that would be the next room that yes, I did.
Did you photograph every room in this house?
Yes, I did.
And after photographing the 2 areas on either side of the kitchen, where did you go next in terms of your walkthrough of the house and your initial documentation?
I would say that there was 2 wings of the house with bedrooms. So the one wing of the house had 2 bedrooms with a bathroom separated, and then there was a suite, I guess you could say. It was a bedroom with a bathroom nearby. And then on the other side of the house, I also went to there's more rooms on that side, but I'll stop there.
And what rooms were on the other side of the house?
There was I called it a sitting room, but it was also utilized. There was a desk in it with a couch. There was a dining room, the foyer to the front door, and the master bedroom with closets in the bathroom.
Was there also an area that was what one might call an office? The house?
Yes, that was actually near the dining room on the other side of the foyer.
And did you begin an initial documentation of the office area of the residence?
Yes, I did.
And did you also do an initial documentation of the master bedroom?
Yes, I did.
When you're doing an initial documentation, do you go into every room or closet that's in a room when you're doing that initial documentation?
Yes, I do.
So in a master bedroom, would you look into the closets, for instance?
Absolutely.
After doing a documentation of the master bedroom, where did you then proceed?
Well, after the bedroom, it would be all the rooms within the master bedroom. There's the and I think that's all the rooms.
Well, you mentioned that there was a room that was maybe, I don't know if you called it a guest room, but a room where there was a bedroom with a bathroom with it. Did you document that as well?
Yes, I did. I called it the guest suite, I think.
The guest suite, and did you document that as well?
Yes.
So as you went through this house, it sounds like you took photographs continually.
Yes, I did.
I want to show you both what has been admitted into evidence, and Your Honor, all of these have been shown to defense counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to show you what's been admitted into evidence as 3A and what is marked for identification as 3B. What are those?
These are photographs I took.
And what are they photographs of?
This is the residence at 27034 Jarvis Road.
And what do we see in 3A?
This is the front of the residence.
Your Honor, if I might move to introduce State's Exhibit 3B.
No objection.
We'll show it admitted.
I might publish.
You may.
So I'm showing you what's been introduced into evidence as 3A. And
This is the front of the residence. There's actually a little bit more of the residence on the right that's not shown in the photograph, but this is a majority of the front of the residence.
and in this photograph, I'm going to use the pointer. It works by a little button. Thank you. In this photograph, can you show us, you talked about a fence around the house. Can you show us where that fence is in this house?
The
Photo.
The left side of the house, you can see this is the vine-y fence of the residence.
About how tall is that fence?
I would say it's about 6 feet.
Now, we also talked about the garage. I think it's pretty obvious. Where is the garage in this photo?
On the right side of the photograph, this is the double car garage where the door is open.
Thank you. Let me put what has been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 3B. Could you just describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what we see in 3B?
So this is a photograph of the rear side of the residence. From the front of the residence, it would be the back right corner looking at the house. That's where I'm standing. And then I'm photographing along the back side of the residence.
It appears, does the all the way around the backyard? Big gates in that.
There are 2 gates. Is one on the left side at the front and one on the right side at the front.
So are there any gates that are on the back of the fence?
I didn't note any gates on the back.
I'm going to hand you what has been marked for identification as 5A, B, C, and D, and ask if you can look at them, please.
Okay.
And what are those exhibits?
Photographs I took
And where were those photographs taken?
at the residence at 27034 Jarvis Road.
And where at the residence?
This is taken from the backyard of the residence, actually the back side of the fence I'm standing, and these are photographs of the south garage door.
A little bit ago, you talked about the garage door that you started documenting before you walked inside the garage. Is this that garage door?
Yes, it is.
Move to introduce State's Exhibits 5A, B, C, and D. Is there any?
We'll show them admitted.
Your Honor, permission to publish.
You may.
I'm showing you what has been as Exhibit 5D. What is Exhibit 5D?
That is the south garage door from the exterior side. Where I'm standing is just behind the white vinyl fence on the right side of the residence.
And using the The white vinyl fence.
Yes.
And where is it?
You can see it slightly on the left side of the photograph. This is where it connects to the wall. There's a small portion right here.
I'm going to show you what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 5B. Give me just a moment, Your Honor.
Ma'am.
Looking at State's Exhibit 5B, what do we see in State's Exhibit 5B?
This is the exterior edge of that south garage door, and it shows the both sides of the lock and handles.
And what do we see in 5B?
You can see a lot of damage to the door.
Let me just put on State's Exhibit 5C, and if you can just again describe what we're looking at in 5C.
This is another photograph I took of that same south garage door. You can see more of the exterior side and that door handle, and I'm photographing the damage, and there's also a scale in the photograph.
And finally, let me show you State's Exhibit 5A. What do we see in that photograph?
This is the interior side of the same south garage door, and again you can see the lock and the door handle and the lock on the door handle.
Did you find anything significant about that lock and door handle when you were looking at the door and taking these photographs?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find that was significant?
The door, both locks were unlocked.
Now, you talked about how you, after you had looked at taking your documentation of that side door, you entered the garage. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibits 4A through E. Take a look through that.
Okay.
What are State's Exhibits 4A through E?
These are photographs, again, I took at the residence.
And where were those photographs taken? In what part of the residence were they taken?
I took these photographs in the garage.
Move to admit States 4A through E.
Any objection? We'll show them admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 4B. Can you tell us what we see in State's Exhibit 4B?
This is a photograph of the south side of the garage. This is,
We see an open door in that garage. Where is that door in relation to what you've been talking about?
that is the door that I'm talking about. That's the doorway to the south garage door.
And what we are seeing in the garage, blue bins, material on the ground, was that all there when you arrived,
Yes, everything except for the ladder.
except for the ladder? ladder there for?
That was to be utilized to help us search.
State's Exhibit 4A. What do we see in State's Exhibit 4A?
This is also the south side of the garage. This is just the other wall. You can see the same white cars parked on that side of the garage. And the door on the right side of the photograph is now closed. That's that same south garage door.
Could you take the laser pointer and just point out where that outside door that's now closed is?
It's on the right side of the photograph.
Could you also get into the residence from the garages?
It's off the photograph, but it's going to be over in this direction.
Thank you. I'm showing you what's been entered into evidence as States 4E. What are we looking at in States Exhibit 4E?
This is another photograph of the south side of the garage. You can again see the white car. The door on the top right corner of the photograph is the south garage door. I am actually standing near the doorway to go into the residence. That's the perspective of where I'm standing.
And there appears to be, while small, some type of a pathway from where you're taking the photo to that door. Did you create that pathway, or was that pathway there when you began your documentation?
The pathway was already there.
I want to show you States Exhibit 4C. Could you describe for the members of the jury what we see in States Exhibit 4C?
This is a photograph on the north side of the garage, so it's opposite of that door. And there is a piece of purple luggage on the floor with its on the right side of the photograph is the door into the residence.
And would you, again, with your laser pointer, point to us where the door is that you use to enter into the residence?
It's on the right side of the photograph. This is the bottom portion of the door right here.
I'm showing you what has been introduced into evidence as 4D. What are we looking at in States Exhibit 4D?
This is a close-up photograph of the piece of purple luggage that was on the floor with its contents on the right side of the luggage laying on the ground.
And during your initial documentation and assess this particular suitcase?
I did it a later time, but this is how I found it.
But that's what I mean. Right now, all you're doing is photographing and assessing. Is that correct?
Correct. To the laundry room.
I want to show you what's been marked for identification as States Exhibits 6A through C. What are 6A through C?
These are photographs I took.
And what are they photographs of?
These are photographs I took in the laundry room of the residence.
Now, is the laundry room what you walk into immediately from the garage?
Yes.
Move to admit States 6A through C.
We'll show them admitted.
Permission to publish, Your
You
Honor.
may.
I want to first show you State 6A. Could you tell the members of the jury what we see in State's Exhibit 6A?
This is the washer and dryer inside the laundry room. And there's also a laundry basket along the side of it. I'm actually standing in to the left.
And State's Exhibit 6B. What do we see in State's Exhibit 6B?
This is the pathway of the laundry room because the laundry room is a cut through into the kitchen. This is me standing in the garage through the door showing the entire center path of the laundry room.
Now, in the picture on the bottom right-hand corner of it, we see some kind of a white object. What is that?
If it's what I think, the freezer. There was a deep freezer along the wall in the garage.
And if you could just use your laser pointer to indicate for the members of the jury where that is.
On the bottom right corner, right here, is the top left corner of that deep freezer.
And finally, I want to show you State's Exhibit 6C. What is this?
This is an alarm panel on the wall in the laundry room.
And where was that alarm panel? On which wall in the laundry room?
When you walk into the laundry room from the garage, it is directly inside on the left wall. So it's on the left side of the door walking into the laundry room.
So if I were to put State's Exhibit 6B back before you, could you with your laser pointer show which wall that the alarm panel would have been on?
It's on the opposite side of this wall, right here on the left side of the photograph.
Thank you. I think you indicated after going from the garage to the laundry room, you next went to the kitchen. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
I want to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibits. If you could take a moment to look at those. What are State's Exhibits 7A through F?
These are photographs I took of the kitchen in the residence.
Move to evidence States 7A through
Show them admitted.
permission.
Proceed.
Let me show you what's now in evidence as States 7A. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what they're seeing in 7?
Of the kitchen floor, and on the floor you see the victim, Dr. Deceivers.
And these items that I want to show you what.
Yes, ma'am.
Show you what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 7B. What is that?
This is a red and black handled hammer that is found on the kitchen floor, and it also has a number 1. This is at marker number 1.
Now, when you initially went through the kitchen, did you initially put a marker beside it, or did you come back and put a marker afterward?
I do my initial photographs first, and then when I'm in my assessment / collection phase, I'm marking evidence with yellow markers to do an additional set of photographs with.
I'll show you what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 7C. What is this?
This is a multicolored wallet that was found on the kitchen floor. I marked it number 3, and it had cards and identification cards for Teresa Sievers inside.
And could we see that wallet in State's Exhibit 7A that we looked at that initial photo?
Yes, it was on the floor.
Showing you State's Exhibit 7D. What is 7D?
I forgot to note something on the last photograph.
State's Exhibit 7C.
Sorry. There's also some receipts on the floor that are also around that wallet that were of interest, so I just wanted to point those out.
State's Exhibit 7.
This is a photograph inside the pantry that was located inside the kitchen. I'm standing in the kitchen photographing into the pantry.
Was there room for an individual to stand? Was there enough space? You see the, was there enough space for an individual to stand inside that closet?
Yes, there was plenty of room.
Show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 7E. What is State's Exhibit number 7E?
This is a photograph of the left or north side of the kitchen. I'm standing in the center of the kitchen, photographing that direction, showing the cabinets, the refrigerator, and what's on the other side of the kitchen in that direction.
So if we walk in the front door of this house, can you point?
If you walk through this path and turn left before these doors right here, if you turn left, that's the foyer, which would put you at the front door.
And in this photo, can we see the office that you referred to?
Yes, this opening in the top center portion of the photograph, you can see that the doors are open. This is actually the office.
And you also spoke at one point of the master bedroom. From this photo, can we head to the master bedroom in a particular direction?
Yes,
No,
and
and where would that be?
if you continue through this pathway if you went to the right slightly, there's another little hallway that enters into the master bedroom.
And I want to show you what's been marked as introduced as evidence as State's Exhibit 7F. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 7F?
This is the east, or I can't really say left or right. So the east side of the kitchen is showing of the living room to the kitchen, which was next to the kitchen.
And again, if we were standing here, can you at least indicate the direction where the garage door would be on this picture?
Directly behind me.
Now, in the last picture we looked at, you talked about the living room, correct?
Correct.
I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits number 8A, B, and C for identification. Can you tell us what 8A, B, and C are?
These are photographs I took, 2 of the living room area and 1 of the dining room area that was not utilized as a dining room.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit 8A.
We'll show them admitted.
Wish to publish.
You may proceed.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 8A. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 8A?
This is the entertainment center in the living room.
And as we're standing did we see this in the photo as we were standing in the kitchen?
Yes, you did.
And what is in front of that that's out of the photo that we cannot see?
There's a sectional sofa.
I want to show you in evidence as 7B. Can you tell me what this is a photo of?
This is a photograph of the coffee table that's in the center section around the sectional that's in the living room.
8B. Thank you, Mr. Gazelle. 8B. And you said if you would
Sorry.
repeat yourself, please.
No. It's a coffee table that was in front of the sectional sofa in the living room.
And finally, 8C. What are we looking at in 8C?
There is a formal dining room somewhere else in the house. So this is that nook section that's always near a kitchen. They didn't have a table there or anything. There were just boxes and a piano up against the window.
When we look at states 7F, can you identify where on 7F, that area you're talking about that we see 8C, a little nook?
You can
Your laser pointer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't really see, but on the left side of the picture is a little piece of the window. This is the right side of that nook area. So if you would keep going, panning to the left of this photograph, that area of the nook is right there.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as states A through E.
What number?
9A through E.
Thank you.
What is states 9A through E?
These are photographs I took of the sitting room, the foyer, and the dining room of the residence.
Move to admit states 9A through E.
No objection except to 9C.
Okay, you can approach. We'll show the others admitted except for C at this point. 9A through E admitted. Objections noted for the record.
I'm showing you what's been admitted as evidence in States 9A. What are we looking at in States 9A?
This is a photograph of the sitting room, which was also utilized as a desk or office area.
And is that a closed room or an open room? Does that question make sense?
Yes, it's an open room. There's no doors to it.
And let me show you States Exhibit 9B. What is 9B?
Is a close-up photograph of the laptop sitting on the desk in that sitting room.
And States Exhibit 9C, what is States Exhibit 9C? Or what area of the room is States Exhibit 9C?
This is the same laptop.
States Exhibit 9D. What do we see in States Exhibit 9D?
You actually see a couple different rooms. I'm in the sitting room, and you can see on the left side of the photograph are the front doors. So that's the foyer. You can see the open doors to the office. To the right of those open doors is the small hallway that goes into the master suite sitting room.
And as you're standing inside that little, what did you call it? That little.
It's a sitting room. I called it a
that little
sitting room.
You're standing here. Where would we go to get to the kitchen?
Can I use my laser pointer?
Please.
On the right side of the photograph, there's an
E. Can you tell us what we're looking at in States Exhibit 9?
This is one of the walls in that formal dining room. You can see the dining room table, and on the right side of the photograph are the sliding glass doors that go onto the lanai.
And looking back again to 9D, do we see that same piece of furniture in 9D?
Yes, you do.
And where is it?
It's this same piece that's in that photograph. I believe it's a hutch, or
And the sliding glass doors that you referred?
the sliding glass doors are to the right of it.
Thank you. I want to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as States 10A through 10Q. Can you take a moment and then A, yes.
Okay.
And what is States Exhibits 10A through Q?
These are photographs I took inside the office.
We'll show them admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may.
Show you States Exhibit 10A. What are we looking at in States Exhibit 10A?
This is the entry into that office. I'm standing outside the office showing the double doors going in.
And where is the front door of the house in relation to these double doors? If you could use the laser pointer and identify that for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
The left side of this photograph, you can see the very edge of the front door. So they would be to the left of this photograph.
Now, were these doors open when crime scene initially arrived?
They were, but they were not earlier.
So did someone from law enforcement open these doors before before crime scene arrived?
Yes.
I want to show you State's Exhibit 10B. What do we see in 10B?
This is a photograph standing in the doorway of that office. There is a closet to the right and a desk and a lot of stuff on the floor.
When you say you're standing in the doorway, showing you again State's 10A, is that the doorway to which you're referring?
Yes, it is.
And when you say standing in the doorway, about where were you standing?
I was standing in the threshold of that office. There was multiple desks in this office. So there's an L-shaped desk, which you can see in the top left section of the photograph. There's also another desk in the right part of the photograph, computer chair in the center.
State's 10D.
This is a photograph of what's on top of not the L shape, but of the walk in the door on top of that desk.
Let me show you 10E. What are we seeing in 10E walked in?
So I'm standing, if not in the doorway or just slightly by the doorway, the front yard.
State's Exhibit 10F.
So walking into the office, if you look to the left, there were little drawers and other items up against the wall, and then a 5-gallon jug with coins and currency inside.
5G. Is that the 5-gallon?
Yes, it is.
Was that jug hidden in the room?
No.
State's Exhibit 5H. What do we see in 10H? Thank you, Mr. Gazelle. What do we see in 10H?
This photograph, I'm actually standing in the center of the desks. And at the top section of the photograph, you can see the doors entering into the office. So I'm standing in the center of the room.
And if you could, with the laser pointer, identify where those doors to the office from which you entered are.
The one door is actually closed and the other door is open. Here's the opening of the...
Show you 10I. What are we looking at in 10I?
This is one of the drawers of the single desk. When I opened it, I noted money and coins, so I was photographing inside the drawers.
And J.
This is a camcorder that was found while searching through the office. This was found in the closet of that office.
10K.
The bottom section of this photograph is actually that closet that I stated is inside this office, and above it is named something with a whole bunch of bills in it.
Bills, what do you mean?
I believe they're currency, yes.
Now, was there a shredder in this office?
Yes, there was.
And I want to show you State's Exhibit 10L. What are you looking at in 10L?
That is a document that was found in the shredder of the office.
You know, I see blue gloves in this. Do you wear a particular protective gear when you are processing a crime scene?
Absolutely.
And what's the purpose in wearing that?
We don't want to leave our own fingerprints and DNA behind, so especially in homicide cases, we wear gloves and booties inside crime scenes, which when I refer to booties, Tyvek shoe covers, so that we're not stepping through evidence and tracking in through with our boots. We have coverings for those, and we will not be inside a house without gloves on.
And did you put on booties and gloves before you entered into the garage area of the residence?
The station for the gloves and booties were set up right outside the garage so that you couldn't even enter the garage without booties and gloves on.
Now, if you went outside to do something else and came back in, what would be the procedure?
Taking off of those gloves and booties and putting a new set on.
I'll show you State's Exhibit 10M. What is State's Exhibit 10M?
This is a photograph showing what the document was that was found in the shredder of the office.
And 10N, what is 10M?
This is a close-up photograph showing the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, which would have been the return address on this document.
Now, it looks like it's shredded. Was it all together when you found it?
Yeah, this was actually stuck in the sharp edges of the shredder, so it was all still together. So we removed it together and collected it.
State 10O. What is State's Exhibit 10O?
It's hard to see, but this is the floor of the.
C and O, is that underneath one of the desks?
This is actually underneath the L-shaped desk, which was underneath the window of the office.
State 10P.
This is a close-up photograph of something I noted in the office. It's a holster.
Now, State's Exhibit 10Q, you talked about in State's 10O, something under the desk. State's Exhibit 10Q. Can we see, what is State's Exhibit 10Q?
This is a pretty well overall photograph of that L-shaped desk under the window of the office.
And can we see what you referred to in State's Exhibit 10O in this photo?
Yes.
Where
Photograph.
the office certainly appears very cluttered. Did LCSO create that clutter, or was it there when they arrived?
That was how I found the office.
And in your briefing, was there any indication that anyone had in any way disturbed the crime scene other than the few comments they made to you about doors?
Just the doors. No, they didn't do anything else.
Let me show you what's been marked for identification as 11 A through C. A through C.
These are photographs I took of the master bedroom and the two closets.
Move to introduce. Thank you, Your Honor. Permission to publish.
You may.
Let me show you what is State Exhibit 11A. What are we looking at in 11A?
Correct.
I also note in State 4D, which was in the garage, that we see a suitcase. Is that the same suitcase we saw in the garage?
No, it is not.
Is the suitcase in 11A the same size as the suitcase from the garage in 4D?
No, it is not.
Is it larger, smaller?
It is larger.
Thank you. Show you States 11B. What are we looking at in States 11B?
This is a photograph of the south closet in the master bedroom, which I could see had female clothing and shoes, so I would determine that this was Teresa's closet.
Did the closet appear to be ransacked in any fashion?
It did not.
States that in 11C.
This is the north closet in the master bedroom. Again, it had male clothing and items, so I would say that this belongs to receivers.
Were there any safes in this closet?
There were 4 safes in this closet.
And if you could, with your laser pointer, point out where those 4 safes were in the closet? And were they locked when you were there?
Yes, they were.
Were you able, did you eventually gain access into those safes?
Yes, I was.
And did you find any money in those safes?
Yes, I did.
And how much money did
Different.
I want to show you it's been marked for identification, State's Exhibit number 21. What is State's Exhibit number 21?
I took in the guest bedroom.
I would introduce State's Exhibit 21.
Sure.
And again, you indicate this is one of the bedrooms.
Yes, this is what I would call the guest bedroom. It had a bathroom directly across from it, so I called it the guest suite. But yes, this is, I would call.
Now, did you create a diagram? You talked about when you do your documentation of doing sketches. Did you? I want to show you what. I want to show you. Oh, I am. That's why I'm standing here. I want to show you it's been marked for identification purposes. It's exhibit number 2.
A very blown up portion of my crime scene diagram.
And is this the crime scene, a blow up, but the crime scene diagram that you put together from your assessment and documentation of the crime scene on Jarvis Road?
Yes.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit number 2.
No objection.
Show it admitted. That might be hard to do. Counsel for the defense who's handling this, if you need to move, by all means, you can get up and move to get a better view if they're pointing or describing something on it.
Permission for the witness to step down from the witness stand to describe what we see in the diagram.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, if we could just relocate ourselves.
You can move to get a better view. You can bring your client with you if you'd like. You can step down, ma'am. I forgot to say that, didn't I? Okay.
Describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what they are seeing in State's Exhibit number 2.
This is, like I said, a very blown up portion of the.
You guys can slide over.
diagram.
Stand in front of me. Doesn't matter. I'm up higher.
And could you walk the jury through that diagram from entering into the garage, where the various rooms are?
As I stated, I entered through the south garage door when I entered into this residence. This around the perimeter of the residence is that vinyl fence that I talked about with these two gates on either side. So on the right side of the garage is the south garage door. I entered through. This is a 3-car garage. There were 2 in. On the top wall of the garage, this is actually the door that I walked through to enter into the laundry room. The laundry room is marked with the dryer and the washer, a laundry tub, and a closet. I walked through another doorway into the kitchen. Then above the kitchen is the family room with the sectional and entertainment center. The note had those on the floor with the keyboard. On this side, you have that sitting room with the desk and that laptop. The foyer, which is the front doors to the residence. The dining room with that piece of furniture and the sliding doors that led to the office. And here's the office with that closet. Through a door just outside the office, entered into the new, I call it the north bedroom on here. This is the master bedroom, which had the 2 closets and the bathroom. We go back over to the family room. There is actually, in the family room, there's another doorway that access the, I call it the guest suite, because it was kind of separated from the rest of the residence. And you have a bedroom with a bathroom.
Or you can just bear with me for one moment.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to hand you black. Okay. And I'm going to individually hand you photographs that we have been discussing. And what I would like you to do is I'll hand you the photograph, tell us, remind us again what we're seeing in the photograph, and then mark by the exhibit number where this photograph is in this crime scene diagram. Okay. I'm going to hand you states 4B. You would first tell the jury what they're looking at in 4B. We're looking. I'm going to hand you state 4C. Could you then and then place this on the diagram?
So 4C is the luggage that was found in the garage with the items taken out on the floor. And this is, on the right side of this photograph, is the entry into the laundry room.
So where is that? Can you mark 4C where that luggage was, where that picture of that luggage? I'm handing you 5A, which was the photograph of the unlocked